Right, everybody, welcome to the greenhouse. We have got some work to do today. We've got tomatoes. I've got tomatoes you can see over here. A lot of my lettuce that we got started over here in the last few streams. It's ready to move out into the garden here. It'll be later this week. So this space over here, plus a lot of these, are going to end up being filled with our tomatoes, which are over here. But I've got a couple here that we need to get out of the containers today. I don't want anybody getting root bound. I don't think they're close to that, but I always like to be out in front of that. So, what else we got here? On top of that, we've also got to take a look at and see about moving around some of our beets. We've got a few other things we need to look at here. So, again, it's going to be a good day here in the greenhouse. If you haven't joined us before, my name is Ryan. I come here live pretty consistently throughout spring, summer, into the fall here in the greenhouse. I want to make sure my tracking is on here so it's keeping me in frame. And yeah, so make sure to join us here. We're trying out some new stuff here in the greenhouse. Let me see, right? This should make me zoom in a little bit more. Come on, there we go. All right, look at that. We're getting fancy here, folks. We are so fancy now that we uh got our cameras doing this stuff. I mean, I got an overhead camera this year, right, where we can check on our different tomatoes that we have. And this is an important thing. I'm really excited actually for you guys to see this because the understanding your varieties and how long it takes for them to germinate, so you understand that, as well as just knowing how the different lights are at too. It's one of my things I absolutely love about I do love about being here in Michigan, having my greenhouse, is the ability to start these here even if I get a late start on these, something more terrible to have my tomatoes, I still have time, right? I'm just trying to maximize every little bit of growing that I can out in my garden. That's why I have it here. But I could start these here in the next little bit. So, hey, Salvador, what's happening? Hey, thanks for joining. Good to see you. Yeah, thanks you. I appreciate that. We're getting there. Like with everything, it's always an adventure. So, but yeah, again, for anybody here who might be joining later, checking out the video late instead of the live stream, be sure to subscribe. Make sure to hit the notification bell so you know when I'm coming live so we can see what's going on. So yeah, these are the different tomatoes that we had here. Just kind of doing the overview here. That, by the way, Soto, things were going so well here, and then we've gotten snow again. Like it was beautiful. It was like 70 degrees out, and it was wonderful. And now I think it's 35 out, and we've got like 3 inches of snow out there. It'll all be melted here in a couple days, but it's just, yeah, it's just kind of disheartening, is what it is. So, again, for anybody watching here, we've got 4 different varieties of tomatoes in here. So that's why I say it's important that you know what type of tomato you're dealing with. These are cherry tomatoes, and they typically take a little longer to germinate. They just don't get moving at the same rate as your bush varieties or your indeterminate, your actual large, your slicing tomatoes or canning tomatoes, right? And yeah, absolutely, that nightmare. Which all that being said, the lettuce that we do have, which we took a look at here in a little bit, to go back to there, that'll be fine out there in the cold. That stuff will be just fine. I'll probably throw some hoops over them and just keep them covered. But I'm really not even worried if they get a little snow on them; they'll be fine. But back to this here. So when we're looking at our just understand this, that when you're looking at your different varieties, that you will have them come up and they're going to grow at different rates. And that's important that you understand exactly what you have for your tomatoes. So in this case, we've got beefsteaks, which are right here. And then on this end over here, we've got these are Romas. And these are plum. Again, it's plum royal. This set right here. So we're going to get a few of them out of there. And then on the far side here, we have these are mountain magics. Again, it sounds like a pop variety, I know, but it's actually a tomato. So Um, and this is the other spot here. You can tell where these grew also where these on this end over here were towards the middle of my on this end right here, were towards the middle of my greenhouse where they got colder and they didn't grow as much. These here were also got addition the as far as the light too. You can see where the leaning's going on. But this has to do with where they're not growing as much here, has more to do with the temperature than anything else. These guys here were towards the insulated part of my greenhouse. So, but all that being said, they're all going to catch up here just fine. The biggest thing is that they're out, they have their first true leaves are going, their root system is good, and then we're going to get them into a larger container to where they can live their best lives and do their thing. So, that's the goal for today. I want to get I think the number is going to end up being close to 10 to 14 of these tomato plants. I just want to get them repotted today. Like that's the idea. So that's what we're going to be working on here. So, we've already got my I already have, just check this right here. Good, 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 good. Okay. We already have potting soil ready to go down here. Come on down here, folks. So I've already got potting soil is already set up in here. It's a mixture between, um, for those that, the new viewers here, it's a mixture between our coconut, shredded coconut husk here, the fibers, which you have to pre-soak, which is in another bucket over here, and then with regular just old potting soil that I throw in here. I usually go to like 2 to 1, and it works just fine. Gets them going. It's got nutrients in it. Again, this is only meant as like a small, starter for, get them going on their journey towards deliciousness. So yeah, so let's go ahead and we're gonna do our first set of them here. And so with this, what we're putting them into, we're gonna drop them into 4-inch containers here, and we're gonna kind of make sure this is packed decently, nothing too crazy, but we want it pretty well packed. So when we do get in here I want the roots to be able to. I don't want any air gaps, none of those things. And as you know, as we've talked about before, best known practice on this thing is to make sure that you've got no air gaps. You don't want those roots that when they're starting to do their thing to be going down and all of a sudden oh, I can't get there because then they have to come out and they expend energy trying to figure out where the soil's at instead of growing, right? We just want them growing, getting set, and making the plant strong. So let's get our first one going here. Now this is our tool that we got from Organo Republic. I just love this little tool, and it serves one purpose. It's to get stuff out of these trays. I mean, it has this thing too. I'm I think this is for like weeding maybe. I don't know, but I just use it for this thing, as what they said. So we're gonna start right. Okay, I gotta make sure what I'm starting with here. So we're gonna do our aromas first. Yeah, let's do our aromas first, and let's start all the way in the back here because we're gonna talk about. I have you guys here. We'll take a look at the root structure since we got it. So we got some good rooting going on there. Pretty happy with that. That's not too bad at all. I'll take that. Then we're gonna spend some time looking at the plant here. So if I can get it to focus, probably not, but there are little hairs all along here, this plant. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to bury it not too far down, but I at least want to bury it to about here, about a quarter of the way, 1/3 of the way up the actual stem here. And all those little hairs, those will actually turn into roots for us. That's what we want here. So we're gonna take our time today. I'm not in a hurry. Just this over here. And you can see I've pre-dug a little bit of a hole here so I can drop this guy right in, just like that. We're gonna press down and we're just gonna top it off with some more of our potting soil mix. Hopefully you can see the fibers and the different color in there where the coconut's got that redder color to it. We're just gonna make sure that this guy gets buried. And we're gonna do one more thing here because I want to make sure we start off our plants not worrying about stuff, which is we're gonna do a little trimming here. And this is something I've been doing as of late. I don't know how much of a difference it really makes, but we're gonna do it anyways here. We're gonna come in and take care of these guys right here, right? See how this one's kind of lower down and I'm worried it might end up touching into the soil. We're just gonna take a piece of it off there. Not gonna get rid of the whole thing. It's still helping to, feed the plant and get it, but we're just gonna make sure that there's anywhere here where we think it might accidentally come in contact with the soil, we're going to get rid of it. So now, because we buried this in the way that we did, everything that's below this line, is going to create additional roots. So they'll end up shooting out sideways. They're going to be more for support than anything else, which is fine, which is what you want. but those roots are also bringing in nutrients as well too. So little cheat code there. And as you can see, we already got more and more leaves that are coming off here. So these aromas are going to be now again as a reminder, aromas are in again they are indeterminate. So what it means is indeterminate. It grows for an indeterminate amount of height. It'll just keep going as long as there's soil, water, and sunlight and something to support it. Right? It'll just keep on growing. So aromas are great for that. So you can have, pretty much at all times after the first, make sure I say this correctly, the first 90 or 80 days, excuse me, you know, 80 days, you'll have ripe fruit all the time. So it's great. We love that. Love that for us. Okay, so there's one done. We're just going to kind of stack these guys over here for right now. Just kind of put them over there and keep on rolling here. Let's see. What's been going on? What else has been going on? In I got blue jays that are just I don't know if you can hear them or not, but the blue jays are barking at me over my head right now. They're upset because I haven't really refilled the feeders because there's been plenty of food for the birds to have up until this snow. As far as I'm concerned, it's kind of a bird problem to have to figure this one out now. All right, so same thing here. We're gonna just kind of pack these down. We're gonna make a nice spot here for this. Set it off to the side, and then hopefully, you guys, I think this will work. I think this will work. We're always a work in progress here on the channel here is just kind of making her work, right? So see here, what's been going on? Anyways, there's something else I was going to talk about here. What else has been going on? I had some other stuff that I've been working on. Oh, so chickens are getting big. The chickens are getting big. Oh, how do I know when to transplant? So we'll show you on that one. One, it's kind of experience, but we're gonna take. Remember when I was showing you the roots, and we're gonna look at the roots on here too. Some of these are gonna be a little bit early, but when you know how to transplant, my goal on this is to make sure that these they don't get root bound. And there's a couple tricks you can have to see it, to knowing that. But you see how you see how we're getting these long roots that are all over? Those are good to have, but you see how it's starting to circle around the actual pod? That gets bad in a hurry. So what you want to do is what I typically do is as I'm watering, if I see underneath these, because these are um, bottom watered, right? They have a tray underneath these pods. So what I'm typically looking to see if I see any roots starting to poke down through, that lets me know that I'm getting pretty close to where these roots are going to start getting kind of crunched up and everything. So you want the roots going out and spreading out. And root bound means you basically got to come here and if you ever bought the stuff from the home stores, you know how you got to cut it up, basically cut the bottom off, do a whole bunch of stress and damage to the plants. That's what you don't want to have happen if you can control it. So that's kind of the idea. So when I start seeing that, I am immediately saying, okay, it is time for me to start thinking about getting these plants in their next section here. Like I said, we're just doing a little bit here. We want to bury them a little bit, but again, that's simply just to activate some of those hairs on the side and turn them into some extra rooting for the plants themselves. And what'll happen here also, when I transplant these out to the garden, chances are good I'm going to rip off some of these bottom leaves that you see already, and we're going to plant it deep again, just so I get even more. Tomatoes are interesting like that. Every time that this stem touches soil, it turns into roots. It wants roots because typically, like this Roma, these indeterminate types, they're they're vines. So they're used to kind of crawling around and then finding spots. Any place they can get to bare soil that's a good spot to drop roots, they drop roots. So they don't care. You can just keep on burying them. They don't mind. So I had that last year. I had to leave for a week. I had some family stuff. I came back and the wind had blown down a couple of my tomatoes where they had landed, and I didn't notice um, for a couple days. So they had about 5 days. It appears just to be living their best life on the ground. So I went out to go get them, and they had rooted, you know, on some roots, quite a few spots. So I had to had to inspire them to not be there. But, not all of these are ready. Again, not all of these I'm gonna do. Just I'm looking at the ones that I can tell are uh, that are just a bit more mature than the others, and you're gonna have that in every single set where they're gonna have some that are gonna be doing better than others, and that's okay. There's gonna be runs of the family. There's gonna be other ones, but we just kind of want to stay out in front of them the best we can. So I've got, yeah, make sure you guys can see what I'm working on here. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of jump around here a little bit to this next spot. Get after this guy. Oh, okay. This is here. And you'll see, like, as an example, like I was trying to tell you, like, oop, I pinched there. That's not good. Uh-oh. That's all right. We're gonna take those off. See, like this one here, I wanted to show this wasn't isn't quite as ready. You can see it does have a few of the roots. It is what it is. So we'll get them in there. You got a little damage during the transplant. That's okay. We're just gonna nip those off. Gonna stunt the growth a little bit, but not too much. We're not too worried about that. Get those out of there. He's still got plenty. He still has leaves and the others and a strong stem, so we'll be all right. Okay. And again, if I lose, I already know I'm going to lose a few of these. It's just what happens. I never have all my plants make it. That's why I start so many. So, you know. Also, I'm working on getting as far as getting these up where I can start some because I do want to start selling as well, so I can get some of these started earlier, so I can have my little greenhouse here going. And if I can sell, a couple hundred plants, um, per year, just to my neighbors and stuff, I think that'll be all right. So that guy got smushed it a little bit. We'll see how he does in the long run. I think I might have. Uh-oh. I actually pinched off that one too. Well, we'll see. We'll see. We will see how that goes. Again, not sure. Dun dun dun. All right, so let's make sure that I'm a little bit more careful. Again, this is live, folks. This is real. We do this in real time, so there are mistakes that are made, and if there's mistakes to be made, I can promise you I'm the guy that's going to make them. It's what I do. Oh yeah, so back to the chickens. They're getting big. At least three of them are. They were a couple weeks older than. They were at least a week or two older than the other group of chickens. But they're getting big, so that's something. All right, so that was interesting. Let's see what the bottom of this looks like. So I had an air gap in that one. That's interesting. All right, so you can see here, again, back here, roots look pretty good. Look like they're taking overall, especially on the structure on this one, looks pretty good. So that's gonna be all right. Helps if I have soil in my pot first. Helps if I have this thing ready to go first. Goodness, Ryan. Ah. As far as it goes, like business coach. So Soto, how's things been over in your neck of the woods? You guys got to be warming up. You've already had some storms come through the other day, though, right? I'm guessing, as far as like I want to say snow, but it was probably pretty yuck. I'm imagining. I know up in Maine they got hit. When that's happening, you guys normally get something too. Oh, thank you. Yeah, they're adorable. They're good. Yeah, they're getting there. They're always trying to come up with something cute for the shorts. You know what I mean? I've got my serious ones that I do for my business stuff. I don't know if any of my business stuff shows up on your feed or not. Hope if unless that's something you're interested in. So yeah, yeah, lots of rain. So yeah, I would love it if it was lots of rain in the 50s. I would take that right now over 30 degrees and snow. Because like right now, it's like we're getting freezing, like you know, wintry mix. I think is what I called it when I was talking to the. Oh, so I got snow melting off the side. When I was talking to the National Weather Service a couple days ago, this wintry mix, which is yuck. Nobody wants that. Okay. All right, we're keeping on rolling here. I've got one, two, three, four. How many aromas I got? I want to get these. I got what, four more? I'm gonna do these four. Yeah, these four right here. Yeah, this is beefsteak, Roma. Yeah, so we're gonna do these four right here. The next ones we're gonna get. Okay, so oh yeah, the feedback. Yeah, yeah, no, yeah, that feedback survey one is yeah, again for those that aren't watching the chat or on the review, the preview or the rewatch on this. Got one Soto. She's talking about. Yeah, they're talking about my one of my videos on the feedback source. Yeah, it was, you know, it was always tough because you had to tell them it was. I don't want to you want people to talk. You have to tell them it's anonymous, but everyone knows it's not anonymous, and we knew it wasn't going to be anonymous, even though it wasn't. You know what I mean? It was just that it was always annoying. But I can say this much though. I learned an awful lot during my time in the military about those surveys because we had to do them every year and they were mandated by law for us to do them. So I learned a lot about how to do them right, how to do them wrong, just through the course of 20 years. And it is, by the time I was been in corporate, we had it pretty much, I had it figured out. I had to train my teams that, talking is better. Just say words and talk to my leadership to say the people are allowed to talk. So shut up and let them talk. Let them tell us what's wrong and then we can fix it and then they can work and then we can work. It's this wild concept, just let's let everybody give everybody what they need so they can work and then we can actually spend time on working instead of, well, whatever, you know what I mean? So there are surveys on supervisors. They're called if you uh what we had was we did 360 reviews. Everybody had them done, which is so I would feel like if I was, let's say I'm a mid manager for whatever reason. So it would be my peers, other mid-level managers reviewing me. It would be my bosses reviewing me, and it would be my subordinates reviewing me. So I would get 360. How well was I doing? So, and that's something that I do for a lot of my clients. I ask them to do. I think it's a good thing. Again, you have to train everybody. You have to manage expectations, and it really does give you good feedback. And I had a lot of my guys, even when I moved, I had to untrain them. I have them unlearn their bad, you know, I don't want to say bad behaviors, but their expectations. They had to unlearn what they had learned about how bad things could be, and the what would happen if they gave feedback and they got a bad, i.e., they could get fired or get yelled at or something. And I would tell them like, no, I need you to talk to me about these things and be open. I had one guy, he was eventually going to replace me when I decided I was leaving to come do the work I do now. And here's a good, by the way, I'm going to come back to it. Here's a good example. You see this one? It's only got a couple roots coming down on it, just a couple, but we don't have any circling around. This one looks almost identical to those other ones, but you can see it is not anywhere near where I'd be worried about root bound. So to answer your question, what you're looking for is it coming down here and you want to start seeing the sideways, like the crisscross pattern on the roots. That'll let you know it's time to be transplanted. Like I said, I knew some of these were going to be early, and that's okay. I'd rather get to them early than late because late really stresses the plants out. But that's the thing for supervisors, and I just tell them, I'm like, man, if you're a brand new supervisor, you want to hear everybody's complaints about you. Good Lord, you get so much like, yeah, you get as a new supervisor, you get all sorts of like leeway to when you're learning. So I tell everybody, man, just get feedback from everyone. Everyone has a vested interest in you not being terrible because you're going to make less work for everyone else. So ask for feedback, ask for reviews, ask for everything. But everyone's so worried about not being good at their job, and possibly getting fired or whatever. And I've always found that just to be dumb. It's a kind of a silly way to worry about things. All right. So if that one was there, and now I hit an air pocket on this, even though I smushed it down. That's okay. So let's see. So this one here, you can see I'm getting started a little bit of sideways, getting some down here. So there we go. And again, these are going sideways. So this is in the right spot. There's no compost. Um it is a mixture of that one looks really, really orange on there, but it's a mixture of potting soil. It's two to so when I start with these here, it's 2 to 1. I stay in 2 to 1 while they go to this. If they're gonna be in a longer term, like kind of show you on this here. Zoink. So this guy here is gonna be one of my cucumbers here. This is in 1 to 1. Like this mixture is 1 to 1 if it's longer term. But these short term things where I'm going to be doing trans another because this guy here is probably going to end up in one of these. Like I'm just going to keep on boop boop boop. That's what I do. I just keep bringing them up, and then just adding more and more potting soil. So once we get to the soil, they're they're used to being in dirt. So it's that progression because this stuff is I mean because this is cheap, right? Like this is why I want to start with this. It's really inexpensive, and but when you get to potting soil and the other stuff, it's got a little bit of weight to it. So compost, I do compost a little differently. I use my compost in my, because I make my own. So to answer your question on compost, because I do use compost, I use compost in 2 ways. I use it as a top dressing for my garden because it's black, like it's really dark, so it helps warm the soil up, and it also gets the nutrients down. But I also throughout the summer, the fresh compost I make, I use it for compost tea. So uh, I have a little sprayer, and I'll mix it up and then throw it in, have it ferment. If you've never, do you know you know what compost tea is? Just in case folks don't know, it's you take compost, you take some warm water, you take a typically it's a baked potato, you put them both into cheesecloth sacks. So you got the potato on one side, you got the compost on the other. You put them inside of a bucket of warm water, cover it up, and you just kind of let them do their thing. So all the microbes from the compost are now getting all that fresh um, sugars and starches from the that baked potato, and they just start going nuts. They got all that oxygenated water because they're aerobic bacteria. They're just happy. So you end up with this nice little bubbly fermented mixture that you take that and spray it all over your stuff. So for those that don't know, that's what that is. So that's how I use my compost that I make. And especially now that I got my chickens, it's going to be even better because I've got that fresh manure that I can add in either to the compost or directly to the garden. So that's the long term plan on there. Oh, and my I've gotten a number of compliments on which I thought it was sweet of everybody, the folks that are constantly driving by my house. Number of compliments on how well the chicken coop matches our house. I thought that was because it's gray. I thought that was cute. I was like, well, you can't just get any sort of structure. It's got to complement the stuff there. Oh yeah, it's done great. Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's done really. Actually, I was more worried about the wind. We've had some 60, 70 mile an hour gusts here like last week. It was insane. So, yeah, but it did fine. Everything was good. It has been all good. So it is like I said, I don't expect it to make more than a couple seasons. I have to upgrade it anyways. Not a long-term solution, but it'll hold up for a few years. So yeah, these guys look pretty good right here. Now, now Soto and anybody's watching will be also I am I the way that I look at these two here is like I really treat these pods as starters. When I'm looking, this is my longer term piece. They'll be in here for a minute. This will probably be a month in here, and I'm gonna have roots coming down at the bottom here because I really want this root ball to really be solid before I transplant into the larger one. because that larger one is going to be, um, you know, this will be in here for a month, so that's really going to be in the larger one. We might be talking a couple weeks, but at that time we'll see some pretty explosive growth going on. So it's going to fill all those roots up pretty quick. So I want a nice solid core, and that's why I have like the 3 stages I use. It's just what works for me. I don't know if there's probably zero science to it, would be my guess. My clients who I've never run it by my clients who have their greenhouse, or they how they do their stuff. They would probably tell me that I'm probably overhandling my plants or whatever. But like we say on this channel, and it's important, do what works for you and be open to what everybody else does. There may be a better way, you know. But for me, this works for me. Plus, I get to hang out with y'all, and do these things. So, double win for me. Okay, so that is my Romas. I'm going to well, they're fine for right now. I'll put their little case right here. They're my Romas. Next, we're going to move into our. There's only a couple here. Let's see. So actually, let's take a look. Now that we got those out, I'm kind of curious because I saw a couple roots. I didn't see many. Let's see what the underside of this looks like. Yeah. So there you go. That's what I was seeing, folks. You see, they got put this up right here. This is what I was talking about. I was seeing. Once I start seeing those, that lets me know. I mean, these have been transmitted. Look at that roots I had to cut off. So, and if what they're trying to do, obviously those are tap roots making their way down. If they don't have a way down, they're going to end up wrapping around here, all these side ones. So that's what we don't want to have, because as the roots get bigger, they're going to constrict and contract, and constrict nutrient flow. So that's why we don't want that. Root bound is bad for that reason. The same reason when you're transplanting your trees, one of the things they tell you is make sure that you are looking for any circular roots that are around the root ball, that you're either cutting those off or pulling them and stretching them out. Okay. Same exact reason. All right. So now we got these smaller ones. We're going from 1 inch. So we're going from 1 inch on this next ones to 2 inch. I'm out of 4 inch, decent sized ones until I can get my pint ones back. So that's what I mean. Like all of them are going to end up in the tomatoes. We're going to have them all in this spot over here. Here, let's do this real quick. Go full screen for a second here. All right. So I was saying, come here. Come on down. Come on down, folks. Here we go. So what I was talking about here, they are all going to end up as I move all of these to the garden. We are going to end up with tomatoes in these. So that's kind of how my succession planning goes. Get the stuff that I know that can, for the most part, make it out there. And a lot of this, honestly, is going to be for us eating, but most of it's going to my chickens. I'm just gonna they're tearing up lettuce left and right. So this is easy peasy, just growing a bunch of lettuce for my chickens. They're loving it. So look how great this here's a good one here. That mescaline mix. How great that's coming out. So good. Yeah, looking really good. And these varieties here that have and they have coloring in them like this, where they're not just straight green, like the mescaline mix. They do really well in the cold. Doesn't bother them at all. Then you got these other varieties here, which are more of like a butter lettuce. You'll see those. And then, yeah, again, those are the type that you want to be looking for. Anything that's got a lot of the wrinkles to it, they tend to do well out there. All right. Oh, just for fun, since we're full screen here. Oh my, oh well, the artichoke's coming along. Looking pretty good here. Looking good. Got a couple of those going. That's my first time with artichoke. I have no idea what I'm getting into with that. So stay tuned. It'll probably be exciting, one way or the other. But anyways, I've got to get these out. Like I said, I don't want. There's a few of these others here. Like there's really just one, two, three, four. 'Cause I'm not so worried about um the Mountain Magic. It's over here on these plum regals. There's four of them I want to get. The temp right now, it's a good question. Come with me. I don't think it'll go all the way over here. Let's see. Will stay with me. You come with me over here. No, almost. It's 61. 61 degrees. Come with me, buddy. Stay with me now. So 61 degrees. So, we basically 24 degrees warmer than out is outside. Now to be fair, I mean I do have my heater going. So it's not like it's not because of it's cloudy. It's cloudy as all heck out there. We've got nothing. So yeah, I'm cheating with my heater today. But this heater, uh, it's a great little heater. It's got a thing that keeps it at 40 degrees. You're basically year round. So yeah, no problem. I probably should have like a greenhouse temperature thing somewhere living up here. I don't know if that'd be cool or not or whatever to have. I'm not sure with the temperature and humidity just to be able to show while we're working. But so anyways, that's the very long story to why I'm using these little ones for right now. Like I said, I just got to get these guys out at the start, and then we are going to go from there. Okay, so let's get these guys out of here. Oh, let's see. All right. So again, I'm just going after this one, this one, this one. I think this one. So let's do this one because this one got a little leggy on me, and that was the thing. I didn't actually. I'm amazed at how many I didn't actually have get leggy on me. I expected more, just how quickly they took off. But they're doing, and this one is really. Again, I'm only doing this because it's leggy, not because I expect there's barely any root growth in here, but it was leggy. So we're gonna bury this guy down here like that. We're gonna go fill them in. So you can see how I've got it. We'll fill this in real time with you. We'll see how that goes. With that, we want to make sure, just kind of carefully though, at least at the start, gotta prop them up so they don't fall over. There we go. This I tell you, and against Soto, you guys who know, this is such a fun hobby. So enjoyable just to be able to get your hands in here, control what's going inside your body. It's a good skill to know, obviously. You know, Lord knows how I hope we never have to use it in a survival situation, but it's nice to know that in very short order, especially because I have a ton of seeds with the greenhouse and I have my own ability to generate power, electricity, that we can at least have some food. You know what I mean? But it's also nice because for my neighbors, we're gonna be able to share with them a lot this year. Um, I did come up with a new idea. That's one thing I want to share. I have a new construction plan that I'm going to be doing. I think it'll be fun. We're going to have I'm going to do some raised, insulated, raised, um, solarized flower beds, or not beds, I should say vegetable beds that I'm going to use for growing. Nerve wracking too. Yeah, I know. Well, so welcome to the channel. We don't worry about things here. That's if you go to the top page, we don't worry. It's one of the rules. We don't worry about stuff here. Plants die all the time, even when you do everything right. I know what you're saying. Um, so another one of the new things I'm going to be doing is I saw it on another channel where they had at their south side of their house, they had along the side where beds where they grew their herb, their herbs and everything at, and onions and it's some things that they grew, like not onions. What am I thinking of here? Well, onions, but the green onions, that was it. And along with herbs, but they were solarized, so they had plastic or they had plexiglass over the top, so that way during even in through the winter, it could stay warm enough in there to be able to manage. So I think I'm going to do that. See if how many fresh greens I can grow that way. The same thing within here. The greenhouse is going to be packed this year. There's going to be downtime in the greenhouse. I was talking to my wife about it. I'm probably going to leave most of my insulation. I'm going to take the insulation off of the roof on the north side, and I'll take this down, but my insulation is probably going to stay up on the sides. I think I'm just going to leave it there. Uh, I don't really see a need to bring it down. I mean, I may if it's starting to get weathered too much, but this stuff's cheap to replace too. Took me just a couple hours to do everything. So same thing we did last time. We're just gonna drop this guy in here, set up, and again, these are now this again different from what we had last time. These are not uh these are not indeterminate. These are bush. These are determinate style, so they're a bush tomato that everything's gonna kind of flower, flower and fruit at the same time for, it'll be good for canning. So that's really what these are going to be for. They're going to be for canning. And I kind of want to have them going. So hopefully that they are full on, I want, July is what I'm really fingers crossed. July is just going to be everything fruits in July. So it's super hot. They're where tomatoes love it. And then they can be done, which is then going to open me up for my brassicas, and I'm on do some cover crop, just to have something growing in there. But I'm gonna have my brassicas for my winter harvest moving into their spinach and other stuff like that. So that's the idea with the bush ones this year. And if that works out, that'll be great. Because one of my biggest worries that I have with my tomatoes is getting um, disease setting up. So you've got to, obviously got to keep rotating everything in and out of there, right? Like that's the important piece. Make sure you don't have that set up. So here, how about I just do this? I can just leave my little scoop there. Really all I need to do is this here. There we go. Because and actually I'm still pulling carrots. I've still got carrots I'm pulling out of the garden. Did great over the winter. They're delicious. I've been pulling some of them out, just kind of throw them out for the rabbits because they just keep getting back and forth with this crap weather. So I just kind of throw them out and over by my compost so they can come over and go munch on something. Be good there. So I want this guy here. I've got 5, so I'm probably gonna do this one, and this one. I thought I had 4, but I actually have 5. So let's just get these guys out of here. And these are there you go. Yep. So you can see there the roots that we got there. Ooh, this guy's going to be buried right up to the leaves. I'm okay with that though. Let's go ahead and just get him buried. I want him straightened up though. Come on now. Stay nice. There we go. If it don't look pretty, it doesn't go in the garden. Right? Gotta look good. Gotta look good. We are doing well. Doing well here. Okay. There we go. There's this guy there. Living his best life. Cozy. Everybody getting cozy. All right, got 2 more. Then we got just a little bit of maintenance around the greenhouse, just on some stuff here. Some of the things we have, and we're actually gonna be checking in too. So I've got my onions that I have down here. My onions in the garden are doing okay, but these ones are doing better. I want to see kind of what the root structure is on one. We're gonna have a sacrificial one, and if we can save it, we'll put it back in, but I doubt it. So I've got my leeks are coming up here. We're gonna take a look at my leeks, and we're trying out the new Tallboy uh, covered sections, and we'll see that in a second as well too. They look pretty good. Pretty happy with those. Yeah, I've got a whole nother container, 4x container of these things. These 4x's are going to make the rotation for sure. Like the 4-inch tall domes are going to make the rotation for sure. I really like them. Like right now, the other thing with the tomatoes here is that as we're going through these, it's moving along. In the year, they're also getting tall where they're hitting the top of my, the standard seed dome, and that's not good. We don't want water just sitting on top of the leaves. That that isn't good for tomatoes in general, let alone the new guys. So, right. Again, I'm gonna send a note to Organo Republic. This little scoop thing is dope. I like it. Oh no, no, no. It's speeding, speeding. Don't go so fast there. I'm busy talking about the scoop and just dumping a boulder on top of my tomato there. Can't be doing that. Right. So the other thing too is after the tomatoes are out, or the lettuce are out, these will go into the trays that I have for my lettuce, so they can just continue to get watered from the bottom, which is what we want, right? We want those roots going downward, looking for water that direction. Deep roots are gonna bring in stuff. Now with that, I've been listening to a new YouTuber, just kind of learning more about like I mean, I've no-till growing. I've been listening to that guy for a couple of years now. He does a daily thing. It's pretty cool. But there's another guy. I wish I can remember his name. He's been popping up lately, where he's explaining what the different weeds, the different type of weeds you have in your garden. It's definitely worth a look. What nutrients and minerals they bring up. Like dandelions, they've got that really long root. What they're doing is they're pulling calcium up into is what he's saying, calcium up into the leaves, which then um, decomposes, and now you've got calcium has made its way to the top portion of that of the soil layers. So I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. So he's talking about how to use, take the roots and use them to make a tea fertilizer to then put back on your plants. I was like, which made sense. But he says you can use them to kind of identify what you're short on too. I thought that was interesting. But after this year, I'm going to get my soil sample at the end of the year, just to see what I'm dealing with, so I can see what kind of amendments I need to get. I can't imagine there's many. Let go, let go. This is our last one we're doing, so I just want to take a look at the roots here. Again, see, we got just a little tiny bit of roots, nothing really too crazy. So, like I said, a little early on them, but I'd rather be early when it comes to these than late. And this will allow me to then put the cover back on here, because it does stay to 40 degrees in here, but there's portions of the greenhouse where I can show you. Let's see me in the right here. I don't know if you guys can make that out, but there's that little notch that's where am I here? Right here. That little notch that's out of that leaf. What happened is it froze. Like that's what happened. It got a little frosty in that one section, and I lost a little bit of that leaf to frost. But that's kind of what I want folks to understand too, is that your your plants aren't necessarily going to wilt up and die if they get hit by frost, because just a portion of them do. They have a natural defense to that. Is it a hard frost? Yeah, they're probably going to be screwed. But I had most of my garden last year was including my tomatoes, and we were dropping down to 30 degrees, 29, no issues. Like they weren't happy, but they did just fine. To where I had a huge amount of a harvest on pretty much everything. The stuff that did well, the stuff that didn't do well, i.e., our uh, the zucchini and squash, which everybody seemed to suffer with last year, didn't do well. But everything else that should have done well did. Okay, so there's that. So that's kind of how my what we did here today, folks. Just kind of got rid of this section here. We're gonna be able to put the top back on down here, let them live their best life. They'll be good. Our really cold days are kind of over, so there's that. But anyways, I want to put this. Gotta clear these guys out for a second because I need a spot to put these tomatoes. This my cucumbers, just kind of moving them out of the way for now. Tomatoes, we're gonna, you know what we are gonna do? We are gonna rotate these. So that's the other thing I like about this too. With these, being able to do this, we're just gonna give these a rotation. So now everybody who's on the outside is now on the inside, and all that stuff happens. So now these folks are gonna be getting most of the light after, and let them do their thing. Okay, so let's take a look at our leeks. Don't want to lose that water. That to the tomatoes. Now leeks grow naturally. They're wild. We have them all over here in Michigan. There's wild onion, wild garlic are both coming up. This wild asparagus is starting to show up. Leeks not yet, but they're pretty darn close. Like they should be within the next, if they're not out already, like poking, they're going to be out in the next week. And I love the fact we can just go get wild leeks. yummy, but we've got them growing here. So you guys can just kind of see what they look like. Here we go. Here are our wild leeks. So if you haven't had leeks, they're delicious. They're very, very delicate in their flavor. But I'm just trying to grow them here. I've never actually just tried to grow leeks before. And this was in the directions. It said put them in a tray with a bunch of dirt and do the thing. I went, okay, well, we'll do the thing then. See how that goes. Swink. Cool. So there's them. Let's take a look at, I want to show you guys, show you while I got you. So here's my Swiss chard. See how nice that's coming along. Got the good color going on here. Definitely getting, doing its thing. Real happy with the way that looks. We got our, um, this is broccoli. You know, it could be cauliflower too. I mean, they all look the same at this stage, but everyone's doing pretty good. Pretty happy with them. Let's see here. I've got cilantro. See how my cilantro is coming along. Cilantro, getting its nice little leaves there. Getting this next one. This definitely starting to take off a little bit. Really happy with that. It just needs more heat. That's the trouble with them. They once they get heat and more direct sun, they're going to be living their best life. Already looked at all though. I mean, we looked at a bunch of lettuce. They're good. Let me show you guys the beets. How the beet start is going. So kind of hard to tell there, but you can see. And the beets again, they were you scatter them on the surface, moist, and just keep everybody moist, and you can see they're popping off and doing their thing. So they're there. Once they get settled and I start seeing them doing their thing, we're going to break them up and they're going to get planted out in the garden too. But we're just starting them right now. Here, give them a little bit of a head start. And then to show you where we're at here, rain dance, right? Little rain dance, just to get that off. And that's the other thing I really like about these. Oops, sorry, these dome lids too, because they've got the little thing here. Because I was gone and I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to get back, so I left these open. And even though we were getting some pretty good heat in here, they nothing was really damaged. So all of my this is for my peppers. We're gonna leave I'm gonna leave this open for tonight, but we are getting the jalapenos. I'm finally getting some germination there. Got one in the middle. The others I'm getting them to pop in a couple spots there. So that's good. Right in here you can see where one's coming up. So they are doing their thing too. And again, the other spot here is they're nice and moist right now, but these lids are going to be off so we can start off gassing and then let them start getting into the wet dry cycle a little bit, help them germinate just a little bit better. But they've been under warmth for a while. And then our next one that we got, again, rain dance there. This is all my celery. I have no idea what's going to happen with this, folks. Going to begin to tell you, I've never done celery before. It says it takes a little minute to germinate, which is fine. It's going to sit here until it does, but um, I got seeds on there. I don't see anybody breaking open yet, but they said it was a long germination period for celery. That was something that they definitely mentioned on the packet. So that's fine. I got none but time, but we're getting close here. I still got. Whew, I'm trying to think here. So, oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, they all look pretty good. I mean, they all. No one is really. No one's really limping along. Oh, well, that's right. We're gonna do a little sacrificial experiment here on. Ooh, this still got a ton of water on it. That's right though. I've just been waiting for this to kind of drain off here. So we're gonna take a look at here. So see, this one's got an extra leaf already popping off, so we don't want to do that one. Let's do this guy right here. I want to see what this root structure looks like. What, if anything, we got going on here? Let's see. I don't even, like I said, I have no idea what onions look like. This is a month-ish. Okay. So you can see we're getting some Oh, there you go. It's actually starting very tiny, you can see, but we're starting to get a little action right there where it's starting to bulb up a little bit. All right. Let's see if I doubt this is going to survive me manhandling it, but we'll put them back there. Cool. That's something. But yeah, we're starting to get these alums, and again, they're in the alum family. You can see this guy right here. See if I can get you in a little closer. Come on, down, down. Where I've got that, we've already got a secondary branch coming off right there as far as a leaf. So that's good news. So I like this that they're about this size. So when these go out into the garden here in a couple weeks, they're going to be hopefully pretty well established and give them a better chance to do their thing. Um, so yeah, so next up, again, just kind of give a heads up where we're at on the how long I've been gardening. I mean, I'm from a farming family, so my hands have been in the dirt forever. I took a break while I was in the military, and as soon as I got back here to the spot, I turned it back on. So I mean, probably about 15, 16 years with being a kid, working on the farm and understanding, and then the science of it is really what I picked up in the last probably 5 years, just having a better understanding. So that's kind of that spot. But I tell you, the biggest thing I learned, and this is where I always go back to, is when the shift when it switched to understanding my job was growing healthy soil, not healthy plants, like everything snapped into place. Like that's the idea, and that's everything I'm practicing here. That's why you see me not worrying about the like the potting soil and stuff that I'm using here, because out there in my garden is where I've got compost going in. We have I try to make sure something's growing at all time or the soil's covered at all times. Where that's why I left my carrots in, just so there's something in there for the worms and the bacteria to be working with. So but yeah, that's the big piece there. Work on it. Yeah, if you can get that piece understanding, your goal is to have healthy soil, not healthy plants. The plants will take care of themselves. Just like with us, we put good food and nutrition in, chances are good we're gonna be good people, we would be healthy people. So all right, so with that, we're getting close now. Probably gonna be mid-April, give or take, or maybe the first full week in April will be flowers. Flowers are gonna have to get started. I've got a ton of marigolds, and again, it'll be one show, but we're gonna be getting flowers going. They've got I mean, I've got a ton of trays that I have to have. But you're gonna start seeing this place getting pretty full more than it is now. Like as we're moving stuff out there as well, we're gonna have so many flowers. Oh, sorry, I'm just mentally preparing myself for it because it is a lot. But yeah, so with that, I appreciate you hanging out with me today. As always, if you've got questions or anything, don't hesitate to drop them in. If you want to go to the community page on my channel, if there's ever anything you want me to look at, I'm constantly just I post out there from time to time, but it's a great place to drop questions to if there's something you'd like me to discuss or feature here as well. Also, one other thing, we're going to start getting into our unique varieties. I'm going to get those on order and have those in because I have there's along with the flowers, there's other types that I like to start. We did Mexican sunflowers. I'm probably going to do those again this year. Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you again for hanging out. We've got our cucamelons. Those are going to be good. And I'm going to be looking some other varieties of stuff to be starting as well. And then by the time that we get everything up, and we're going to be in the garden because I've got to wake up it's April. It's going to be time to wake up my compost. So that's always a fun stream. Um, by stream, I mean I do it as a short because listening to me huff and puff while I'm trying to move a couple 100 pounds of compost isn't that much fun. So, anyways, I appreciate y'all hanging out. Take care. Again, leave any notes that you have there. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when we come live, and be sure to share with your friends.